If you retire with a pension, you could be screwed, says this website we'll talk about here from Arrest Your Debt. I think it's arrestyourdebt.com. I'll bring it up here in just a second. This one's geared towards Leos, law enforcement officers, i.e. police officers, but I think it's actually not actually geared toward them the way I think this guy writes. It actually should be geared towards teachers, not LEOs. So let's dive into this. It was actually an interesting article, and I'm somewhat flummoxed by his conclusion here. So I don't know who Arrest Your Debt is. You can see he's got the handcuffs, Arrest Your Debt, because get it, handcuffs, arrest, and geared towards police officers. Anyways, it's an interesting article. And my man Gary sent this to me, and I wanted to share with you. I do have a lot of Leos on here. Firefighters, first responders, EMTs, whatnot. And that's to you. Always blessings to you, my friends. Blessings to you for all you do indeed. A lot of military personnel too. So people who will get a pension at a younger age. And what my man here, who I'm not even sure who wrote this, Ryan, says you could be screwed. All right. Many of us in public safety sign up with the promise of a pension when we retire. Due to this, many of us will be extremely poor in retirement and may not live comfortably in our golden years. The common pension mentality. How come I can't get this to make it bigger, man? It drives me crazy about this. Oh, there we go. Sweet. I guess I got to click on that. All right. When I signed up as a police officer, I didn't even think about preparing for retirement because I was promised a pension. I thought I didn't need to save anything because it was all taken care of for me. I had to work the streets for about half my life, and then I could retire for the other half without ever having to worry about money. I worked for several years in my career with this mentality. Unfortunately, a large number of public safety employees also think this way. Many of them are nearing retirement with very little in their additional investment accounts, and a large number of officers spent their whole career thinking about the pension was all they needed. Even though I heard rumors about the need to save extra money, I was never educated on why. The consensus among the younger officers was that contributing more to retirement was just icing on the cake. We felt there was no real need to contribute unless we want to be wealthy in retirement. But being wealthy in retirement was never first thing in our minds. I signed up to drive fast cars and have a fun and exciting career. I knew that people didn't become police officers to get rich, so I admitted defeat at the idea of ever having money. My ignorance about retirement has cost me tens of thousands of dollars. Here's what I knew or didn't know about my retirement plans in the earlier years. The number of years I worked for the department had some type of correlation with the amount of money I'd get at retirement. I had no idea how much I would receive, but I knew it increased the longer I worked. I knew most police officers didn't contribute to Social Security, and I knew I would not receive any Social Security when I was older. All right, so I got to stop there because that's where I said, wait a second. I'm not familiar that most police officers don't contribute to Social Security or firemen either. And so I emailed my man Bruce, who's my resident police officer on the channel. I said, hey, Bruce, just read an article from a guy that most Leos don't pay into Social Security. Is that true in your experience? And he says, I have reportable Social Security income since 13, have not missed a year. Some states may pick up the payment into Social Security, but most police pay like everyone else. So my man Bruce says he has been, even though he's many years as a police officer, he's been paying the Social Security taxes every year since the age of 13. Some states may pick up the payment for your Social Security, but most police pay into it like everybody else. So I don't get this, that most police officers don't contribute to Social Security. I've dealt with tons of police, tons of firemen. Some firemen might not. I haven't come across that. Certainly not most. Maybe a small minority. The only issue when it comes to not paying the Social Security is teachers, frankly, and that's in Georgia, Texas, and I think some parts of Virginia. And then I just tell my man Bruce. That's just proves what Abe Lincoln said about the internet. You can't believe everything is on that because it didn't make sense to me. So his contention is police officers don't pay into Social Security. We'll read on why that's an issue for him. And this is where I would switch it from police officers to teachers. Because like I said, I don't believe that to be true. And to confirm that with my man Bruce here. Now, I don't know every single jurisdiction out there, but I highly suspect if you're a cop, you are paying the Social Security. I heard that the department took money out of my check and put it towards my pension, but I didn't know how much. I had no idea if medical insurance was covered when I retired. I knew I can contribute money to a 457 plan, but I didn't know how much or why with a pension. Pensions, says Ryan, are not free money. As you can see above, I was very uninformed about retirement, and my employer did not make it a priority to properly educate me about retirement. All I knew is I figured I didn't need to worry about it because I get a pension and everything would be great. Say what? When I first started, I've been paying for my pension all along, it turns out. What? When I first started, I thought a pension was free money. It was a gift given to you by the end of a long career for a job well done. In reality, I've been contributing 7.65% of my salary towards my pension each and every year. My pension certainly is not free because I've spent tens of thousands of dollars investing it over the years. It's true that my department also contributes money towards my pension, but I had no idea it's contributing a significant amount towards retirement this entire time. The double-edged sword of forced savings for retirement. On one hand, this forced savings is a good thing. The majority of Americans do not save 7.65% of their annual income from day one. That's simply not true. They do. It's called Social Security. 6.2 to be perfectly honest with you. I'm saving 6.2. My employer is saving 6.2. I'm self-employed, so I'm saving 6.2. My employer, the same guy is saving 6.2. So 12.4% of my income is being saved towards Social Security. Again, that's my pet peeve about all these. We're not saving enough towards retirement compared to what we used to when we didn't have to pay 6.2% towards Social Security. As I told you many times this Sunday, the Social Security taxes are different than what they were 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. That's just a fact, man. And so the idea, it's nuts. I mean, we're not paying as much as we are towards Social Security now. And that's obviously the other part of your FICA is a hospital insurance, 2.25 or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, something like that. It comes down to a nice fat even 7.65. Amazing, huh? On the other hand, 7.65 is not nearly enough for a comfortable retirement with or without a guaranteed pension. Oh, God. I can't take it. I now know that in order to have a comfortable retirement, you need to be investing about 18% of your income for retirement. By relying solely on my retirement pension in my early years, I missed out on tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of retirement assets. Because I was ignorant about my pension, I was not forced to educate myself on the need to invest in blah, blah, blah. Okay. The false sense of, and I actually agree with this part, the false sense of security provided by my pension has put me behind my retirement savings than if I had started 10% from day one. I agree with that. If you think, hey, I got a pension, I don't need to worry about anything else. Yeah, I 100% agree. The two ways to know you're going to be successful in retirement, though. I'll tell you. What? Stop the presses. Turn off the phone. I'm going to tell you the secret to retirement success right now. Don't share with anybody. Turn the phone off. Don't record this. Do you have a pension? Do you have debt? If the answer to the first is in the affirmative, and the answer to the second is negative, you are going to be just fine. Pension, no debt, fine. Pension, no debt equals fine. Does everybody know? Pension, no debt equals fine. Pension, no debt equals fine. Pensions are false. Let's see. The average salary of a police officer in the U.S. in 2008 was $58,000. In most jurisdictions, if the average officer reaches retirement age, they're eligible to receive $29,000 in pension for as long as they're alive. If you work if you work. The average officer reaches retirement age. Is that 50? So I'm going to assume that's 50. I don't know. That would be what, 30 years? In my department, if you work for 32 years, you receive the maximum of 80%. This equals $46,000 based on an average police officer's salary. While $46,000 may seem generous after a 32-year career, it will not be much if you live another 30 years in retirement. In addition, not all pensions have cost of living adjustments. Okay, well that's what the union's there for. $46,000 in today's dollars will be worth about $22,000 in 30 years. I 100% agree with that. Pensions keep people from savings. Due to the guaranteed retirement, many employees who expect pensions are not saving enough. Well, I'm forced to contribute 7.65 of my income, and the employer's putting the same thing, so you're putting in 15.5 right there out of the gate. Where was that? 15.3. For an officer, 7.65 pension contribution means they'll receive between $30,000 and $46,000 annually at retirement. With this false sense of security, most pension employees are not saving 18% of their salary like I recommend for retirement. Saving 18% is better than a pension. All right, as he just goes to the historical returns of the They use the 4% rule. They'll just, I can't take it. So if he uses a 58%, he's using historical rates of return at 9%, using 9% S&P 500. If you would have saved 18% a year, you'd have 1.87 million a year. If you took 4%, the 4% rule, blah, blah, blah. Investing plus pension. Okay, so I currently invest 24.65% of my income. All right, so that's interesting. Let's see what else we got. Do we have any comments down below? Oh man, he wouldn't have comments. That's too bad. All right, so I don't know. Again, I don't know who this guy is. Look, I'm not here to challenge the dude's article. I mean, just first of all, 7.65. Your employer's putting 7.65. That's 15.3 already going into your retirement savings, i.e., a pension. If you're making $54,000 a year and you get a pension of anywhere near $40,000 a year, you're doing just fine without question. Most police officers that I'm aware of do participate in Social Security. Maybe he doesn't, I don't know. But if that's the case too, and you're putting 7.65 for your pension, 7.65 for Social Security, that's 30% of your salary going in. So that's fine. So I just think if you get a pension when you retire, you could be screwed. If it is not being subject to Social Security, having a pension doesn't mean you're screwed. It's not having a pension. But I do think there's a false sense of security, not knowing what else goes into the mix for sure. But I challenge it to quite some degree. And so my question to you, my fellow police officers, I'm not one, my friendly police officers, just find out if you got a pension, A, does that have a cost of living adjustment? And if not, you want to get the union to work on your behalf for that. And two, if you have a pension, are you contributing to Social Security? If you have a cost of living adjustment, a pension, and Social Security, you're going to be fine. All right, we'll see you.